about abusive, mentally, verbally, physically, everything. And if I'm going to be on this and keeping it real, as we've been abusive to most of this relation.
Him, I didn't do anything wrong, but the fact that your guys are doing this to me and he's the man in this situation, I'm gonna comply. I am. I'm not gonna argue with you at all. But you had me on camera, but at the same time, what he has on camera, I have my phone, show something different. So if I need to show that, I will.
Corey Holcomb didn't just clown Sha'Carri Richardson for being messy, he came for her soul. On his podcast, in front of thousands, Corey ripped apart the one thing Sha'Carri had been holding onto, her victim story with Christian Coleman. And the way Corey did it, he didn't sugarcoat or crack jokes like other comedians do. He flat out accused her of lying about being in a DV situation and then pulled out receipts that flipped the whole narrative upside down. Suddenly, the internet wasn't laughing. They were asking the same burning question. If Corey's right, how long has Sha'Carri been lying about being the victim?
He's a liar. He lied about a couple things that's personally, just in a relationship. I pretty much, officers can understand what a relationship is about, but he lied. He's a liar. Okay. And that was something that I kind of just grasped, and emotionally, I'm just like, bet you do your thing, but...
And let's be real, Sha'Carri isn't just upset, she's furious. Someone as loud, unfiltered, and unapologetic as Corey Holcomb putting her on blast, that's the kind of heat you can't dodge. And everyone knows once Corey starts talking, he doesn't take anything back. But before diving into the meltdown Sha'Carri is having right now, we gotta rewind, because this whole story only makes sense when you see just how long she's been playing that victim card, and how badly Corey's call-out cut through her front. The trigger moment didn't even come from Sha'Carri herself. It came straight from Corey's mouth on his show. He looked dead into the camera, sighed, and dropped the bomb. Sha'Carri is dead wrong for trying to land Christian in jail, despite being the one who put hands on him, because she knows in this type of situation, she has leverage on him. I can't forgive you for that. That one line, it lit up social media like fireworks.
Thing here is something that I see too often, where you try and get the male that's with you in trouble with the authorities because most of the time you have leverage over the male when you say something's wrong. I don't like people who do that in this society. If you are a female who tries to use her gender to get the man you with arrested intentionally. They saw her throwing headphones at the man and everything. But when the police came, she act like it was the other way around.
Right.
I can't forgive you for that.
Up until then, Sha'Carri was still trying to spin her image as the wounded one, begging for sympathy. But Corey wasn't buying it, and he wasn't letting anyone else buy it either. He didn't just call her a liar. He exposed the manipulation, the pattern, the way she used sympathy like a weapon to dodge the consequences of her own actions. And when Corey stamps you as a liar, it sticks. That's when Sha'Carri snapped. She jumped online, raging at Corey, firing shots, threatening lawsuits, and dragging him for being insensitive. But here's the kicker. Corey wasn't inventing stories out of thin air. He was pointing at the same footage everyone else had already seen. Sha'Carri's so-called lie didn't appear overnight. The warning signs were there long before Corey ever called her out. Let's take it back to when Sha'Carri and Christian Coleman first got together. On the surface, they looked like the perfect sports power couple. Flashy, bold Sha'Carri paired with quiet, disciplined Christian. Fans even crowned them track and fields at couple. But behind the cameras, cracks were already showing. Christian's own family noticed it first. They saw how Sha'Carri was running the relationship like a drill sergeant. Christian canceling family dinners because she needed him. Christian ducking phone calls because she was always around. The picture-perfect couple wasn't so perfect once the cameras stopped rolling. And that's exactly what Corey wanted the world to see. Even Christian's own teammates whispered about it. The red flags were impossible to ignore. Every time someone criticized Sha'Carri, he jumped to defend her like his life depended on it. But this wasn't love. It looked like fear. And that's exactly why Corey Holcomb's accusation that Sha'Carri lied about being in a DV situation hit so hard. It wasn't some random smear. It lined up perfectly with a pattern she's been running for years. Take her past with ex-girlfriend Genevieve Janique Brown. When Janique sat down with podcaster Kareem Boyds, she didn't show up bitter or looking for clout. You could feel she just wanted the truth on record. According to Janique, their relationship was toxic on every level. Mental, verbal, and yes, physical too. And the way she reacted when asked if she'd ever go back? Whew! She flinched before answering and finally said it was nothing but a painful lesson, and she was just thankful to be out of it.
Toxicness get physical because there were claims that she was being abused. But the last conversation that you and I had, you also said that it was on both ends.
Yes, we were both abusive, mentally, verbally, physically, everything. And if I'm going to be on this and keeping it real, as we've been abusive to most of this relationship, and other people, there's people who seen that, people who know that, you know, and we still honestly come and go, toxic, push and pull, and still get over the obstacles until I said, I have learned my lesson. I don't want to go over no more of these obstacles, right? With the same thing. So it's time for me to cut the ties and learn the lesson and move on, right? Me moving on now is where we've been abusive come about, like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what is the reason for posting that now. Is that a strategy? Is that something for marketing? Is that for business? I don't know, because you still have my email, right? And you know, my mailbox is empty. As I said, there's no mail in there. So for the people out there telling me what to say about charge, mom, she put it on the internet, so the more answer on the internet, right? If they're going to charge me, they're going to charge me. If they're not going to charge me, they're going to charge me. And I doubt that, because we both have our receipts and stuff.
Now, let's be clear. Janique didn't just wake up one day and decide to air out her past with Sha'Carri. No, she spoke up after Sha'Carri blasted her on Instagram, flipping the script and painting Janique as the crazy ex. Sha'Carri's post read, "I was in a relationship with a Jamaican athlete that never cared about me from the jump. I was lied to and stolen from. Yet I still protected her from the judgment of her country and family while they dragged me. I had to deal with homophobia and so much more that I'm still healing from." That post was brutal. And it worked! Janique got dragged and canceled almost instantly. Fans sided with Sha'Carri until Janique finally broke her silence. Even then, she still tried to shield Sha'Carri, brushing the IG rant off as damage control. But behind that calm tone, she revealed darker truths. That Sha'Carri had threatened her and even teamed up with others to ruin her name. The tremble in Janique's voice said it all. Like she was reliving a nightmare on the spot. That's why Corey's call-out stung so bad, because he wasn't inventing drama. He was exposing a pattern, a cycle that started with Janique, spilled into Christian, and proved Sha'Carri has been flipping the victim script for years. So when the airport footage with Christian Coleman leaked, fans weren't shocked, but Sha'Carri was. She scrambled to spin it, but the camera didn't lie. In the clip, Sha'Carri is clearly the aggressor, shoving Christian, hitting him, even as he tried to walk away. And Christian's body language said everything. Head down, shoulders slumped, frozen like a man who had seen this before. That one clip destroyed her victim narrative, but instead of owning up, she doubled down. When police arrived, Sha'Carri shifted into full victim mode on the spot. First, she brushed it off as a regular couples fight. Then, when she realized she was the one being arrested, she turned the tables on Christian, calling him a coward, claiming he set her up, even accusing him of putting hands on her.
So you hear me, right? So this is the position that Christian Coleman puts me into, okay? Because he's a coward, and I don't want anything to do with him at this point going forward. My name is Sha'Carri Richardson. Have no problem with letting you know who I am. Having put my hands on him. We had an argument. I will be honest about that. An argument, and that's pretty much it. The argument, pretty much, he's a liar. He lied about a couple things that's personally, you know, just in a relationship. I pretty much, officers can understand what a relationship is about, but he lied. He's a liar. And that was something that I kind of just grasped, and emotionally, I'm just like, bet you do your thing, but you're asking me for things that is within my possession, and for my right, I don't have to give it to you because it's in my position. But when it comes to the point that I saw that he chose to make it more about the police and things of that nature, that showed that he made a choice. So I just want to be more professional and just come professionally and let you guys know, like, hey, relationship thing, have no problem,
so
and walking up to you guys.
It's not illegal to argue.
Right.
Was there any type of physical?
No, I didn't touch him. He didn't touch me. I will be honest.
Hit him with anything?
No, I haven't hit him with
Headphones,
anything.
like that?
Christian, are you serious right now?
So name of Washington State? He doesn't get a say.
But I understand we were arguing. But I understand entirely.
Within 4 hours,
we were arguing.
An arrest will be made.
Okay, I'm not gonna resist. But I'm telling you that we was arguing. I didn't know him. I didn't do anything wrong. But the fact that your guys are doing this to me and he's the man in the situation, I'm gonna comply. I am. I'm not gonna argue with you at all.
I appreciate that.
But you had me on camera, but at the same time, what he has on camera, when I have my phone, shows something different. So if I need to show that, I will.
We have you on camera all that here.
Okay, but I have my phone that shows something different. But Christian, thank you, Christian.
Don't talk to him right now.
Okay, I won't. Thank you so much, officer. They are arresting me right now, Christian. Sissy, they're arresting me right now. Am I gonna go actually to jail right now?
You are actually gonna go to jail.
Wait, but right now,
Yes, it's a physical in custody.
I didn't. Can he tell you that I didn't do nothing to him?
We have it on camera.
Christian, are you serious right now?
Take the headphones off, okay?
All right.
Christian, I'm about to go to jail because of you right now. You know what? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the exact lie Corey Holcomb exposed. He said Sha'Carri knew exactly how the system worked, and she was ready to weaponize it, even if it meant Christian lost everything. Corey even brought up his own personal story about warning his son to avoid women with violent streaks like Sha'Carri. His son didn't listen, ended up catching a DV charge, getting sent to a rehab program, while the woman who set him up walked away free. Corey dropped that story, and fans were glued to every word. The comment sections blew up. Had no idea Sha'Carri was like that, but I'm not surprised. Another wrote, Sha'Carri Richardson is an abuser, but not a word from her sponsors or the Olympic Committee. Interesting. But the real twist, Christian himself. Instead of defending himself when he finally spoke out, he defended Sha'Carri. In an interview, he said she needed grace and help, not punishment. He sat there looking drained, rehearsed, like a man reading lines someone forced into his hands.
It's just a sucky situation all around. Like, I don't feel as if, like, she should have been arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, people have discussions and emotions and stuff like that. Does she have, like, things that she needs to work on for herself? Of course. So do I, so do you, like, everybody. And I'm the type of guy, like, I'm in the business of just, like, extending grace and mercy and love. And I feel as if, like, I don't try to look at obstacles either. Like, I just look at, like, situations like this to just, like, you know, take a step back, analyze yourself mentally, and then just try to see what you can do to be your best self so that you can move forward, so you can just be the type of person and a human that God needs you to be for his kingdom and for his glory. And so that's kind of how I look at the situation. And, like,
that interview left fans stunned, not because it cleared Sha'Carri, but because it showed just how deep this hold over him really was. And that's when fans started asking the real question. Why is Christian still protecting her? The man looked broken on camera, but his words sounded rehearsed, like he'd been coached to read from a script. People pointed out his eyes never lit up, his shoulders stayed stiff, and the pauses in his answers felt forced. It wasn't the voice of someone speaking his truth, it was the voice of someone trapped. Meanwhile, Sha'Carri was spiraling online. Instead of taking accountability, she doubled down again, firing off tweets, throwing shade at Corey Holcomb, and even threatening to expose receipts that never seemed to exist. Fans caught on quick, calling it a desperate act to shift the spotlight off the airport footage. One viral comment said, "If Sha'Carri had real proof, she would have dropped it already. This is pure smoke and mirrors." And just when the fire couldn't burn hotter, a new bombshell dropped. Christian's mom allegedly stepped into the conversation, liking posts that hinted Sha'Carri was the aggressor all along. Fans screenshotted everything, and suddenly, the narrative flipped harder than ever before. If Christian's own family wasn't backing her story, who else would? But Sha'Carri still refused to fold. She went live on Instagram, crying, screaming, saying people were trying to destroy her career. Yet fans noticed something chilling.
Hey y'all, it's Sha'Carri, and more than anything, definitely a lot of self-reflection, a lot of understanding of not only putting myself in a compromised situation with somebody that I have a deep care and appreciation for as well as something that holding myself accountable. I see myself, I'm taking this time to not only see myself but get myself a certain level of health that overall is going to reflect who I truly am in my heart and my spirit.
The tears looked forced. The anger looked staged, almost like she was performing instead of confessing. Comment sections lit up with, "This is PR damage control, not honesty." Others wrote, "She's acting for the camera, not speaking from the heart." And in the middle of this chaos, Corey Holcomb kept pressing his point. He reminded fans that this wasn't just about Christian. It was about a dangerous cycle where Sha'Carri allegedly flipped the victim card every time things went south. He doubled down, saying, if the world keeps protecting her, more people are gonna get hurt. Now, the question wasn't whether Sha'Carri lied once. It was how many times she'd done it, and how many people she'd burned along the way. Fans caught it instantly. Christian could barely look up, let alone make eye contact. His words sounded like they were ripped from a script, and his whole body language screamed one thing: fear. Corey replayed that same clip on his show, pointing out how Sha'Carri had allegedly manipulated him into defending her. That's when Sha'Carri exploded, because Corey wasn't just dragging her. He was ripping apart the carefully polished image she built for the world, and when the heat got too heavy, she tried damage control. First came the apology video, 1 minute long with her smiling like it was a casual IG story. She claimed she was reflecting, taking accountability. But the energy was all wrong. It didn't look like regret, it looked like a performance. Corey ripped that apart too, mocking her on air, saying, "That ain't no apology. That's somebody laughing at y'all while she gets away with it." Fans agreed immediately, flooding Twitter with brutal takes. Her apology video had zero remorse. Sickening. Another wrote, "This is manipulation 101. Christian needs to get away before he ends up ruined." So Sha'Carri doubled down again, this time with a long IG story aimed directly at Christian. She wrote, "My apologies should be just as loud as my actions, honestly louder. To Christian, I love you and I'm so sorry." But by then, nobody was buying it. Comments were savage, with some calling her out for apologizing for the video instead of the actions. One viral post read, "God forgives too." But Sha'Carri Richardson is an abuser, not a peep from sponsors or the Olympic Committee. Interesting. And Corey, he kept pouring gasoline on the fire. He reposted fan reactions, highlighting how her facade was crumbling in real time. Meanwhile, fellow athletes, close friends, even Christian's own family started taking subtle shots online. Cryptic posts like, "No matter how good you think it is, there's always better. Choose yourself." That's when the real fallout hit Sha'Carri the hardest. Corey was dismantling her publicly, and at the same time, the people closest to Christian were pulling away from her too. Insiders claim Sha'Carri went into full panic mode, ranting in private, blowing up at friends, threatening lawsuits against Corey, even insisting the world was plotting against her. But the louder she got, the more obvious it became that she was losing ground fast. And then came the moment that silenced everything. Christian himself vanished. No posts, no statements, no defense, nothing. The last anyone saw was him quietly boarding a flight overseas. His silence since then has spoken louder than any interview could, leaving fans to wonder if this was finally his way of escaping the storm. Subscribe now and stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and you don't want to miss what comes next. See you on the next one.